Hey guys, welcome to Ask Allie, your place for spiritual advice for busy people. Ask Allie is the longest running spiritual podcast on iTunes. I've been helping people there since 2005. You can catch the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, True FM, Google Play, along with watching it on YouTube. Today is Monday, March 26, 2018. I want to thank you for tuning in and giving me a listen to. If you'd like more information on me, to support the podcast, I'll leave the information below in the show's notes. And yes, I just forgot what I was supposed to say, so I looked at my notes. And don't forget, if you like this show, please rate it. Yes, there was no podcast last week. Life just got away from me. It just went. Last Monday, I had a dentist appointment. All I was supposed to do was get my teeth cleaned, the normal 6-month checkup. And while I was there, the dentist is doing his thing, looking around, and says, that crown we've been trying to get you to get for like the last year and a half. Yeah. Well, you're starting to get fractures in your tooth, which means had to let it go on. They would just have to pull the tooth, and all the money I spent on the root canal and whatnot would be out the door. So I opted for the crown, which pained me to no end because I've only had a credit card paid off. So instead of my visit there being an hour, I was there for 4, which totally screwed up the time between my morning route and my afternoon route, and I had no time to go eat. I had time to come eat and then head back. Tuesday, I had a field trip in between. By the time I got to Wednesday, my week was going so not the way I wanted it to that I'm just like, I can't do one this week. It's just as simple. So I didn't do one. And that happens from time to time. It just does. And with spring here, finally, and no snow outside, thank God, there are a lot more field trips to do for my boss. So between April and May, things might get a little sporadic about when there's an Ask Allie podcast. If there's not a podcast up by Tuesday evening, there's not going to be one for the week. So, that said, what I did manage to get done, I'm going to be opening Soulful Connections as a dating site where people go and to make connections. And when I get that set up and running, I'll let you know. I'm working on it this week during the Mercury retrograde. It should be good to go by April 15th. It's not necessarily to go there and find love, romance. If you don't want romance, if you're looking for just to make connections with like-minded people who like, tarot, numerology, essential oils, alternative healing, past lives, stuff like this, Soulful Connections is your place to be. And I've also been working on the 777 Institute. It's been going really well. I forgot how much work it took to build a big site from the ground up. So I spent the weekend, and I'll be spending today and Tuesday and Thursday working on it. My goal is to have it open by the time Mercury retrograde is over, which is April 15th. It should be done by then, not a problem. I don't want to open it during a retrograde for any reason because, well, as you know, during a retrograde, when you open things, when you start something brand new, it could tend to get messed up a bit. And I don't want anything to mess up the 777 Institute. It's too important for me to do and for you guys to be involved in. So that will be happening around April 15th or so. What else? Another something else. I don't know. It's not that important because I can't remember what it is. My kid is in Boston this week on spring break. Him and the band went. He's due back on Wednesday. He seems to be having a good time so far. Today they had to play, and I don't know the building. It was where the Boston Massacre took place during Revolutionary War time. They're playing inside that building or outside that building, depending on the weather. So I'm hoping the people who went, the adults, are videotaping it so that I can take a look at it. That said, let us move on to our tarot overview of the week. We're using the Sacred Traveler by Denise Lynn. I did get a new deck today that I'll be playing with this week, and we'll be using it next week for the overview. But today, let's see what's coming up. Now, keep in mind, again, guys, this is the overview. Every card I pull doesn't necessarily correspond to every single person who's watching. All right? Overview. If you'd like to have cards drawn, especially for you, then why not hop over to outofbodyecstasy.com and get a reading? They start at $25. $25, one question. Follow-up questions are included. So if you have questions about what the one question revealed, you can ask them. It's a good deal. That's all I'm going to say about that. So let us see what is going on this week. Energy-wise is going to be a good week. I did the energy outlook for my my podcast group, the ones who support the podcast. You know, if you guys do support the podcast at the $25 level, I do an energy outlook for the week. I draw it. This is this week's, and I explain what it means. I also draw a card for you. Each person who is at 25 and above, I draw a card for you and talk about it. What else do I do? Any PDFs? I'm developing these little information packets, like law of attraction and believe it or not, vegetarian eating, so you eat well. Anyways, I'm putting these things together and they get it for free at the $25 level. And then eventually I have them on my websites for you guys to pay for. So you get it for free. And I'm trying to work in, I got to figure out how I can do this. So it's not an absolute go-getter, although I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. Those who support the $25 level will get free entrance to Soulful Connections. Soulful Connections will be free to a point, but all the bells and whistles that you want to get, any other dating site you have to pay for. The ones who support the $25 level get a lot of the bells and whistles for free with the membership to Soulful Connections. That's in the works. So there are things you get for $25 a month for supporting the podcast. Just saying. All right, so impromptu commercial. Sorry, guys. But this week, let's see, we got card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So we have a good week this week, energy-wise. So let's see what the cards are. Ooh, I'm liking these. All right, first card. Watching clouds. This is a week to relax, peeps. It's a week to lie back, rest, and relax. It's a time to soothe you. It's a time to kick back and do self-care this week. Watching the clouds. I love that card because it means you can rest. Because I think that a lot of us are going to be stepping up this week as well to be wise leader. You are a beacon for others. Now, not everyone's a leader and not everyone's a follower. And it's okay if you're a combination of both. But there are leaders who are needed to light the way. And many of you who are watching are such a wise leader. So you'll be stepping into that this week as well. And this nice card for everybody, it is infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. Now, abundance doesn't necessarily mean money. It can be opportunities, it can be friends, it can be love. But infinite abundance is a good sign. Again, energy-wise this week, it's wonderful, the energy. So the fact that we get to watch clouds and relax, and some of us will step up and be wise leaders. We have infinite abundance for everyone. Isn't that nice? I'm thinking more about this wise leader. I don't think it's some of us. I think there are leaders who step up and, in front of thousands upon thousands of people. But you could be a leader in your family. You can be a leader in your social group. You can be a leader in your church, in your job. You can be a leader in your neighborhood. Step up. Whatever is important to you, step up and be a beacon for others. All right, guys? All right. So if you want a picture of these, I started doing this, I think, around the 7 or 6 minute mark. Go from 6 minutes to 10 minutes, and you should see this reading and the cards. All right? And if you don't want to look at the video, that's fine by me. Google the cards I drew, and you'll be able to see it that way. All right? All right. Take in some coffee. Thinking about things. Soulful connections again. I'm really quite excited about that. The 777 Institute. I just am. I can't wait to get both of them going. I don't know how I'm going to do this to start with. There are matching services inside the software that I bought, but I would also like to do matching by energy, by the core of your not core, yeah, I guess core of your soul. I mean, all of our souls pulsate to a nice bright white, but depending on what things we have to overcome and what lessons and our past and whatnot, we are all born in with another color kind of vibrating in there. And certain colors belong together, core colors, and other colors will just cause problems. You know what I mean? I was telling the podcast group that my son, his core color is red and mine is green. Now, while it's okay in this mother-son relationship, but red and green, with the exception of Christmas time, they don't go together very well. There's a lot of butt heads. Like if Kyle was not my son and we were in a relationship, we would have probably killed each other by now. His father also vibrates to red. So I know, and so does his first husband. First husband also vibrates to red. Anyways, so I know that me and those who vibrate the core of red definitely cannot be in a romantic relationship. I could vibrate very easily with those with violets or maybe blue, but no reds. So there are certain core colors that go together that work well together to other core colors that don't work well together. And I like to incorporate that somehow in soulful connections. I just don't know how to do that yet. Or when I'll be able to do that yet, because I may have to pay someone to construct a program for that. The Soulful Connections Core Energy Test. Something like that. I don't know. That's a good idea. Then you get a little PDF that tells you what your core is and what you resonate to, what your difficulties are, and what your positive. That's a good idea. Just thought of it. I do stuff like that. I'm going to have to remember to write that down. So some of you, when you watch this, if you ever have contacted me in any way, send me an email to make sure I wrote that down, because by the time I'm done with this, I probably would have forgotten I discovered it or thought about it. So and that way, if you email me, then I will write it down and I will write you back saying I wrote it down. Okay? Okay. So topic this week is, what are you hungry for? And I came up with this topic because I'm doing Oprah and Deepak's meditation, 21-day meditation. And I'm a few days behind, and I think it was day number 4 that they touched on hunger. And I thought, what a question. What are you hungry for? What are you hungry for right now? You know, and of course, off the top of my head, I'm like, oh, I'm hungry for ice cream and for chili con queso and maybe some pizza. I could really go for, bacon double cheeseburger and fries and a good Guinness, depending on what kind of day. So what are you hungry for right now? It can be food. It can be pizza. It can be hummus and chips, or hummus and vegetables, or just vegetables, or ice cream. You can't be hungry for stuff like that. But of course, you're hungry for stuff like this when your tummy is a-grumbling. We all know when we're hungry because our stomach lets us know. It's very verbal when it's hungry, right? But I believe this question, what are you hungry for, goes beneath the obvious. It goes beneath the pizza and the ice cream or the hamburger, or whatever it is, or the deep fried Twinkie. They do have those in Ohio. It's beneath all of that. What are you hungry for? If you're binging Netflix and you get up to go get a bowl of ice cream, and I'm doing this because I've done this plenty of times. Um, is your belly making noises that you're hungry? Is that what propels you into the kitchen to get ice cream? Or are you bored? Do you need something to do with your hands? All right. When you go out with friends and you go drinking for a night of drinking, are you hungry for the alcohol? And if so, you may need some help with that. But if you're not, are you hungry for the alcohol or are you hungry for connections? When you take on extra work, and of course, who really doesn't need extra money? What are you hungry for? I'm taking all these field trips. What am I hungry for? Money is good, but am I hungry for security? Am I hungry for freedom that security brings? What are you hungry for? In every given moment, we are hungry for something. And whatever it is we're going to go do is either a step in the right direction towards what we're hungry for, or it is just a band-aid for what we're hungry for. Like the Netflix and the ice cream. Me going to get ice cream. I'm happy, but it's a band-aid. If what I want is, if I'm bored, going in to get that ice cream will only put a band-aid on the bored problem. Because whatever I'm doing later on down the line, I'm going to get bored again because I haven't solved the actual hunger. I'll go get something else. Or if I'm watching Netflix and I'm watching something that's really sad, it makes me cry. And I go in and get myself. I used to eat a lot of ice cream. I don't anymore. Ice cream was my problem solver. Go in and get more ice cream. Am I hungry for more ice cream, or am I hungry for someone to help me feel better because whatever I'm watching is making me very sad? You see the difference? Okay. To find out what we're hungry for, what we're actually hungry for, if our tummy is not growling, okay, we have to go within and ask ourselves. You can't go get a reading for somebody and say, hey, Allie, what am I hungry for? I don't know. Chocolate chip cookies. I got no clue. Because it's not up to somebody external to figure out what you're actually hungry for. It's up to you. And as human beings, I think this is about 80% of what I've been talking about for the last several years. We do not like to look within and examine ourselves. We'll look into anybody else. We'll examine our coworkers and strip them apart and do a giggle. But looking within and stripping us apart and crying probably instead of giggling, nobody wants to do that. I mean, life puts lots of layers, and you got to pull back the layers to really discover what you're hungry for, right? So when I did the meditation, I think day number 4 again, and I'm asking myself, what am I really hungry for? I'm doing the 777 Institute and Soulful Connections, both which make me ecstatic, mind you. What am I hungry for? Am I hungry to build 2 more businesses or 2 more segments of a business? No, not really. I don't think I'm hungry for that at all. But if I really look within me and get to the core, I discover that I am hungry for connections and I am hungry for more light. That's what I'm hungry for. I want more connections. I want to make more connections for myself, and I want everyone that I love and everyone that I haven't met yet, but I'll still love, I want them to make connections. I want to bring more light out of me into the world, into doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I want to bring the light out of everybody else and have them step into the roles that they're supposed to be doing. So at the end of the day, I'm not driven by money. I'm not driven by power. I'm driven by connections and light. And it took some digging in there with me, because I'm not one to admit that I need connections. I need people. I've always been the lone soldier. I don't do stuff alone. But that's not really what I'm hungry for. I'm hungry for connections. It's another reason I love my job. I love the people I work with. Not everyone, but a good chunk of them. And I absolutely adore my kids. Connections. It's where I'm the happiest. So that's why I'm doing both. So the next time you go reach for the chips, or you take more overtime, or you're heading out maybe to Planet Fitness to go work out, ask yourself, what are you really hungry for? And I think if you're honest with yourself, you might be surprised by the answer. I know I was. Okay, guys, here we are at the end. I want to thank you for joining me at Ask Allie. If you like this episode, please rate it and tell your friends. The more people who listen, the more people I can hopefully help have their aha moments. Join me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can find this at AskAlliePodcast.com or at OutOfBodyEcstasy.com. You guys have yourself a fabulous week, and a happy Easter to those who celebrate this Sunday. And I'll catch you next Monday on April 2nd. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.